What's going on, everybody? Mike McIntyre here, back from All Things Sports, and this is a very exciting video. Let's get into it straight away. Alright guys, Mike McIntyre, All Things Sports, back with a brand new video. Before we get into it, you have three things to do. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. Take care of those three things, and let's get into this unboxing and review. It's been a long time since I've been this excited about a Predator. I've been a Mizuno Morelia Neo wearer for the last, I would say, 7 or 8 years. And ever since I put those on, I really said that those were my favorite boots of all time. When I think back, I was a big Predator wearer, and when I think back to some of the Preds that I've worn, a couple of my favorites were the LZ2s, the Absolutes, just to name a few, and those were, up until that point, those were definitely my favorite boots of all time. I had every single Predator from 2002 all the way up to until they started making the Ace. When they brought the Predator back in 2018, I was super excited because of the nostalgia of the Predator, and I always thought that the Predator should still remain a silo. So they had that little funny period of 3 or 4 years where Adidas took the Predator name away, and we had the Ace model. So when the Pred came back, I was excited, but the reality is that the Predator wasn't really the same thing. We did see some modern evolution with the Predator in 18, 19, 20. We had the Mutators and the Predator Freak, and while it was still getting a little bit of a Predator feel to it, it really wasn't what I thought the Predator should be. And that's when I really gravitated to the Mizuno Morelia Neo. After I had the Adidas Ace, I had a couple pairs of the Ace 17 in the 2017 year. Now we get the Predator 24. So the brand new Adidas Predator. I have reviewed multiple Predators since, but it's been 10 years since I've owned a pair of Predators. These are mine. The last Predator I owned was a 2014 Predator Instinct, even though I kept reviewing the Predators that came out in 2018, 19, 20, 21, and so on and so forth. Unboxing, you get a very simple black Adidas box with Predator printed out. You can see it there on the top of the box. This is the Predator Elite FT. So the FT stands for foldover tongue, and this is the Elite model. For those that are unaware, Adidas have renamed their boot silo, so we don't have a plus, a 0.1, or a 0.2. You have the Elite, which is the top tier, the Pro, which is the second tier, and the third tier is Club, I believe. So you have 3 different top tier models. You have the FT, which is the fold over tongue. You have the LL laceless version, and then you have the standard Elite, which is the Elite version with laces, just no fold over tongue. So inside the box, because it's a top tier model, you get a black mesh Adidas string bag with Predator printed on the front in that kind of orange or infrared color, as they call it, Adidas logo and red strings. That's the only extra that you get, and then you get the boots themselves. So we're going to pull these out and show you all around the Predator 24. So the first thing that we have here on the upper is the upper material. We have hybridtouch 2.0. hybridtouch first made its appearance on the LZ in 2013, the first Lethal Zone. It was excellent. It was a synthetic material made to feel like leather, so it was light, it repelled water, and it really softened up to the shape of your foot and really did feel like a leather. It was an excellent upper, and for years I really couldn't understand why Adidas got rid of it. We have the second generation, the hybridtouch 2.0 here, so I'm expecting big things out of this upper. It was so good on the LZ and the LZ2. Those really made it into my top favorite Predator models. So I'm really happy about that. We have a srikeskin technology, as they're calling it, which is essentially the return of the rubber element in the forefoot area and the striking area of the football boot. Now, these aren't new because Adidas and the Predator have kept these around actually for the last 3 or 4 years. When we got the Mutator, they brought all of those little fins back onto the upper of the material. Here, I think they're just in a place where they should be. They replicate the Mania strike zones. They're really in a similar layout and a similar spot. They provide you a little bit, you can hear it. There's that tackiness, there's that rubber element, and they even have a couple on the tongue when it folds over. So this whole area where my hand covers is all srikeskin Predator rubber fins, which is really, really cool. And then the other element that I like here is that they brought back the control frame in the one-piece construction. So they're actually calling it the Control Frame 2.0. It's a one-piece sole plate with an external heel counter, which is my preference. It's light. We get the return of these sort of triangular shaped studs, which Adidas did on pretty much all their Predators, with the LZ all the way through to the Instinct. And then with the Ace, they went for that real hybrid AG, FG stud pattern on the Ace, which I wasn't a big fan of. So I'm really happy to see the return of this control frame. And with a stud pattern and layout that I'm very familiar with, and I think it's one of the best ones Adidas has ever done. Other little things that we should touch on is just the cut of the boot. This is my preference as well. A cut around here with a nice solid piece around the Achilles tendon. You have nice memory foam inserts on the inside. You get a little bit of knitted material around the infrared or the orange color here, which fits really, really well around my foot. It really hugs your foot naturally. I like the cutout. It just fits really, really good. And the other thing that I like about this model with the tongue is obviously the nostalgia tongue. I'll talk about that in a second, but it's how easy it is to get the boot on thanks to a more traditional lacing system and a separate tongue. I believe on the Elite models, I haven't seen those in person yet, but we don't have this one piece upper. I like the fact that you have a separate tongue and traditional laces. It's much easier to get the boot on, and you can really get it to fit to your foot quite well. So that's something I like. And then obviously on this model, the FT, the fold over tongue, we need to talk about the tongue after all. Now, I realize that we're in a generation now where a lot of players that might be watching this video have never played with a fold over tongue. This is, well, first of all, it's classic, and it does an excellent job, if you lace them up correctly, of covering the laces and providing you with a really nice striking element. And in this iteration, I think they brought it back in a way that keeps the boot modern. It doesn't feel bulky, it doesn't feel out of place. It's nice and thin, still comfortable, covers the laces really, really well, and I like the fact that we have a relatively thick, aggressive, and what feels like high quality elastic material to come over the front of the boot to keep the tongue down. On the Absolute, one of my favorite Predators of all time, but I remember on that model, going from the Pulse had a nice big elastic, and then on the Absolute they thinned it out, and over time that eventually ripped. I think this one looks good. It's nice and chunky, it feels like it's of high quality, so it's gonna keep the tongue down, and I think it's gonna do a really, really good job. Let's head over onto the turf to talk about fit and feel, and then we'll wrap the video up. So slipping the boot on feet for the very first time, this is what a Predator should feel like, in my opinion. It's been a long time, as I said before, since I've been this excited about a Predator. It's built on a new last. I have a really wide foot, and while it feels a little bit tight around the midfoot, it's not tight to the point of being uncomfortable. So for me, I think after breaking these in a little bit, they're gonna fit exactly as I want them to. I want a light, responsive, relatively thin boot with just a touch of padding on it to mimic the feel of leather, which is why I'm such a big fan of the Morelia Neos. But this one really hits home in that area. You've got the fold over tongue, and again, the way the thing is cut, I really like the way the boot is cut. You get the tongue to fold over in a really perfect spot, and I just like the overall shape of the boot. I like the way it wraps around my foot. There's not too much material. It doesn't feel bulky. It doesn't feel heavy like an old classic Predator. It feels modern, and I think it's going to have its place in the game today, and it just looks really, really good. In terms of sizing, you guys can go true to size if you're interested in a pair for yourself. Adidas is really consistent, bang on with their sizing, and in this model here with the tongue, it fits perfectly. The tongue is not too bulky, it covers the laces really, really well, and still gives you a modern, responsive, light boot, which I think is what it's all about. So that's pretty much it. Let's send it back to the desk so we can wrap this video up. There you have it. There's my review of the new Adidas Predator 24, as they're calling it. This is the Elite model with the fold over tongue. Massive fan of it. I really like the colorway. I love the way it fits. I hope they bring back some classic colorways. I'd love to see that all white with the red tongue model and maybe some black fins. I think that would look really, really good. But I'm just a huge fan of this Adidas Predator, and that is my review for the Adidas Predator 24 with the fold over tongue. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. I always get an answer out to you. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Please hit the subscribe button. I'm Mike McIntyre. I'm signing off for now. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Till then, take care. Peace.